Hey everyone, my name is Jacob Mathis. I'm a major in political science at Murray State University and a junior. Today, I would like to talk to everybody about a certain policy. It's a policy that I'm sure everyone will be very, very excited about to talk to. It is taxes. Yay! I'm sure everyone is dying to hear about it. So, many of us have heard the countless different arguments on whether or not one should raise or lower taxes, whether that be the corporate tax, capital gain tax, income tax, tax, etc., etc., etc. Uh, I stand before you advocating that generally we should be working towards lowering taxes across the board, whether that be corporate, capital, income tax, etc., etc., etc. I believe that my position that I hold after doing extensive research can even at least seem credible to my detractors. This is why I will propose that lowering taxes generally is a proper position to hold on an economic standpoint because it allows investment into a nation and provides avenues for new employment. When discussing lowering taxes, I feel as if we should be going from least effective to most effective to the average person. So first, we're going to talk about corporate tax. Lowering a corporate tax allows an easier means of foreign investment into the nation that the tax is being lowered in. According to article Lowering Marginal Corporate Tax Rate, Why the Debate, a lowering taxes help increase foreign investment because there's less of a barrier to entry if this is done. And since there's less of a barrier of entry, that means more investment goes into the nation. Foreign investment typically leads to more jobs, less money being spent on development and more money being spent on what product they provide, whether that be if it's a corporation, whether that be some sort of um, useful product like cars, phones, uh, anything really. If there's less money being put towards expenditures to the state, that's more money being able to be put towards expenditures for the consumer. And that in turn makes things better for the buyer itself because they have more product. It's beneficial just on an economic standpoint. But we will get into the personal benefits outside of just purchase, buying, and such. I believe this to be a beneficial means of stimulating economic growth. This is because allowing foreign investment also leads to greater growth in not just economics, but in culture and diversity, enriching people's lives and their pockets. The more foreign investment, the more ventures from foreign ideas and foreign concepts will then be added into the economy of the people that are living in the nation. According to effects of lower capital gains tax on economic growth, lowering the capital gains tax, which is a tax for people that don't understand, is a tax designed specifically for non-product based items such as assets like houses, land, stocks, stuff like that. Uh, Lowering the capital gains tax can reduce the strain put onto corporations. This, in turn, is beneficial to the general citizen because the corporation, like we said before, has better leeway when it comes to the amount of money they can spend, so they can spend more money on the people that matter. And the people that matter are the customers. And also, the customers have to pay less money because typically the company makes more money now because there's less taxes on them. So they can afford to make products cheaper. And that also in turn is making land cheaper, especially with the capital gains tax. So if there's not a capital gains tax, stock prices are easier to get into, land is easier to acquire, and is beneficial to most parties. An article written by the Cato Institute talks about how, quote, private individuals and businesses use money more efficiently than governments do. This means that it allows businesses to make effective monetary decisions that governments just typically aren't able to do. A business has a bottom line and it needs to make a profit. So if they if they are much better at risk management when it comes to spending money because they have more risk than a nation does when it comes to spending money, they will use it more effectively and get more people on board. Although one might think that things beneficial to a corporate conglomeration is not the beneficial to the normal everyday citizen, I would argue that's incorrect from previous standpoints such as lowering prices for individuals and such. This does benefit people because a, a lower tax in these regions doesn't just help corporations, it also helps businesses. These businesses can then invest, make money, new business ventures come in, new businesses are made, more money is made, more people then get employed. It creates more jobs. It also creates more consumers who can pay for those people's wages by buying product. It stimulates the economy and stimulates employment. Let's talk about the counter arguments, though. There's a few, and there's some good ones, but I disagree. In terms of counter arguments, an easy one to point out is that lowering taxes can create a deficit in the economy, meaning that there's not enough money being spent in order to in order to make up for the expenditures made elsewhere. So if the taxes are lowered, the government makes less money, gets less money put into it. That's technically not true. If you lower taxes and that allows more businesses to come about, those businesses can grow, and then guess what? Pay taxes. So that's not a correct argument to make. It's not necessarily true. This can also be alleviated just by spending less on things that we don't need. So if there's expenditures going to some random foreign investment by our nation that we don't need to be investing in, you can just cut that and it makes up for the tax cuts, still helping the citizen of the nation, the county, whatever is trying to make that tax cut, whatever investment they made, cutting that. Well, they're now investing in the people. With that money people will have in their pockets, they can donate to charities too. So that alleviates the other criticism of saying that this can cut into welfare or this can cut into benefiting other people. Not true. More money means more money to spend, and more money to spend means people are more likely to spend it on things they don't need. So that's like charities and such. So that's not necessarily true. People can still be beneficial towards that. And cutting taxes doesn't necessarily mean we're cutting taxes in those fields. If welfare does not, we're not cutting welfare when it comes to decreasing a capital gains tax. It's a misnomer. It's not, doesn't connect. It's not true. Uh, and if you're thinking about, okay, I agree with you, Jacob. You're such a smart person. How can I help? Well, I'm glad you didn't ask, because we can come together by writing to our senators. That means looking up their addresses, finding out I don't know what state anybody who is reading this lives in. So depends. For example, in Kentucky, you can go to kentucky.gov and look up the mailing addresses to these certain departments, such as the senatorial offices. You can also create change.org petition, change.org thing, yeah, and get people to sign it online digitally, share it around with other people, and I can get people talking. Just talk about it. Just make it more well known. Bring it up topic of discussion. I'm sure everybody will love talking about taxes with you, so why not do it? And just to restate, lowering taxes can help people economically, it can help corporations economically, and doesn't typically hinder the people in the nation. If I've if you come about with anything else, it's just that lowering taxes is a beneficial tool that people in a nation, a county, etc., can use in order to make their lives better. Thank you.